Right, listen up.
Affirmative. I'm listening.
Activate the controls.
On it.
Landing gear retracted. Ship released. Engines
Shinobi
engaged.
says oh hi.
Ignore me for a moment.
I did not receive an immediate order.
Oh, hello.
I'm ignoring you.
And welcome to the next version. Let me get into orbit, I'll get away from the ground, and I'll show you what's cooking. How are you guys this evening? Or maybe it's morning for you. I don't know what's the best time to stream. Maybe I should be streaming in the morning. Probably most of my audience in Europe. Stop ignoring me.
Aye. I'm listening.
Enter Super Cruise.
Of course. Preparing for Super Cruise.
Shinobi says, are you running the Chronos small for quick response with GPU acceleration or just processor?
Tightly locked planet turbine 1 is anomalous gravity reading of 0.49 G. Surface temperature minus 56 degrees Celsius and no atmosphere. I'm ignoring you.
So the voices you hear right now, that's Kokoro, and the speech-to-text that you hear, that hears me rather, is Whisper. The problem that I encountered with Whisper is that Whisper is really good at long-form text. Like you point it to a Joe Rogan podcast and it will transcribe it quite accurately. But its inference engine, and it is a model by the way, it's a model that runs on the CPU, not GPU. The inference engine is struggling with short commands, like a couple of words. And a single word command, not very good. But in the Matrix, there is a contributor who threatened to implement a better version of speech-to-text that uses CUDA, which I don't know if it will run on AMD processors, and I have no GPUs, and I have no way of finding that out. But that one is a lot better at. First of all, it's more accurate, and second, it's a lot better at transcribing short utterances, which for this game and for this particular app is kind of crucial. If he is successful, great. If he is not successful, I will take a stab at it myself and see if I can do it. Or not, and the goal is to have it packaged inside of the application so that people don't have to install, configure, or mess about with anything at all. You run installer, either Linux or Windows, and you run. So there are several changes that's been done inside. Oh, hold on, there's a new text coming in. I can already read it, but I'm waiting for the speech-to-text to do it, because it will interrupt me.
Shinobi says, yeah, I'm using Kokoro, and you can use ROCm drivers to accelerate it with AMD.
Yeah, Kokoro is speech-to-text. Kokoro is text-to-speech, so here you don't need the acceleration. What we're waiting on is the inference of the LLM itself. But as soon as it comes out, it goes straight to the inference, and straight to the speech-to-text, and I cut it by commas, dots, exclamation signs, etc. So while it's speaking, it's a 2Q process. While it's speaking part of the sentence, the second one is already being processed. On the settings on the audio, there are some changes. There is a speech volume, there is a beep volume, so you can turn the beeps off completely. It beeps less right now. So it beeps, you hear a beep when we transcribed from speech to text and sent it to LLM, and beep indicates that now we're waiting for LLM.
Shinobi says, have you tried Faster Whisper? It also supports ROCm.
No, I haven't. So that might be another thing to try. It's not the speed, it is the accuracy. That seems to be the problem. In here there is STT threads, so you can tell it how many threads you want to use for the speech-to-text processing, and this is min-maxing. So if, let's say, you have 16-core CPU, that'd be 32 threads. And you can ask, all right, give me 11 threads to do the voice processing. If it has 11 threads, you will get them. But if it only has 7, you will only get 7. If you have a very small processor and you say you set it to 6, but it only has 4, then 4 is all you get. This does not impact the quality, it only impacts the speed. At least on my processor, difference between like cranking it up to 11 or running it on 7, I don't really feel the difference much. Then I added this vocal graph. Whatever you see in this wave form, that is what already has been sent for processing. If it is green, that means we are sending, the gate is open, and as soon as I stop speaking, it will turn red, meaning that the gate is closed, and it will zoom into where the noise level is at. So this is kind of the graphical representation of what the application is actually hearing. On the LLMs, you now have Llama and LM Studio. You can swap between them. And clouds moved over here. So if you click the checkbox over here, it will be using cloud, and it will uncheck this too and restart the LLM thread, and vice versa.
Shinobi says it has a turbo mode with excellent accuracy. However, I'm American, and probably most models are trained on our accent, which can cause issues for other language speakers.
I think they are trained on whatever they find on YouTube. Oh, hello, Don Trader, welcome to the stream. Don Trader helps me a lot with testing, and God bless his soul and his patience with me. He's helping me with Windows testing because I don't have Windows. What else is new? Under the player, there is now a tab with the ships, and you can change the voice right here.
Hello, Krondor. I am Driftminer. At your service, my lord.
Hello, Krondor. I am Driftminer. At your service, my lord.
It will play the voice right away. The list available voices command is now actually going to demo the voices so you can hear them if you do that.
Don Trader Placido says, and the patience with the AI. Shinobi says that's really cool that you have the audio monitor, and you're probably right, that's a good point, is probably the easiest way to get audio content with transcript to train on.
And if it's learning from the YouTube transcription, which has also been transcribed by AI, then it will inherit those mistakes. You know, you can actually download the transcript, the text transcript of each video, which is transcribed by another AI. So now AI is learning from AI, and there might be mistakes over there. Generally, if you speak for complete sentences, then Whisper is okay, but the short inferences, short phrases, it struggles with those. Let's see what that other speech-to-text thing is going to be. I'm waiting for the pull request on that one. And yes, Don Trader, we ran into weird problem with LM Studio on Windows. From what I gather, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what we've experienced is that it's a machine with 2 GPUs. And when we tell it use this specific GPU, it actually uses the primary one, the same one that games run on. And when we don't tell it to use specific GPU, it just squats on both of them. When what it should do, it should use the one that we tell them. Maybe it's a known bug, maybe it's a workaround. Anybody who knows more about LM Studio, especially LM Studio on Windows, because I'm on Linux, I do not experience that at all, and I don't have 2 GPUs to try. Please let us know, because I am at the moment kind of stunned at what to suggest on that front.
Dontrader Placido says that's it exactly. Shinobi says use Allama I can send settings in WSL v2 Ubuntu. You can specify GPUS there.
Yeah, on Linux it's a different story altogether, because on Linux it's just one config and you tell it which GPU to use, it uses that. And Allama works differently than LM Studio. In Allama, for example, you can tell it, alright, here's the GPU and only grab this much RAM from it and don't use any more, is what I'm doing. I'm only using half the RAM for, because I have one GPU, I'm only using half the RAM for LLM and the other half the RAM for everything else, including the game.
Shinobi says actually you could specify.
Listen up, open Galaxy Map.
Certainly. I'm listening.
Open the Galaxy Map, please.
Affirmative.
Shinobi says NVIDIA or AMD. Shinobi says environment equals HIP visible devices equals 01. Shinobi says chance to CUDA instead of HIP set environment variable in Windows.
Route set.
Dontrader Placido says so that's the Whispering Michelle.
Yep, that's the Whispering Nicole. She is in my fighting ship.
Nicole isn't a fighting ship.
Alright, let's jump to Ratri. Jump.
Aye. Jumping to Rat Drive.
Shinobi says I have 3 GPUs, so if you have 2, just specify 0 no comma in the command. Dontrader Placido says CUDA visible devices equals 1 should be my second card, and Allama uses that correctly. Dontrader Placido says, but LM Studio doesn't.
Route to Rat Drive. Jump past K. Scoopable for fuel. Traffic in the system totals 21,430.
Shinobi says,
47
yeah,
ships
LM
passing
Studio
through
is
this
a mess,
week.
I don't
9
use it.
so far today. There have been a total of 1,642 ship losses. 6 this week and 2 so far today. Arrived
Ignore me for now.
destination, Ratrai. On it. I'm ignoring you.
Allama is kind of fire and forget. I like the fact with Allama that you set it up once, it survives reboots, and that's it. LM Studio was requested. Oh yeah, I forgot. Another thing that was requested was Gemini. And I implemented Gemini integration. And the person who played with Gemini said that 99% success, very few hallucinations. But the problem that that person ran into is that this app did not recognize the difference between left and right modifier keys. So I had to fix that. This version that is available right now does recognize left and right keys, and that's done through the native library.
Shinobi says, plus, if using multiple LLMs, you can rely on Allama evicting the models.
True, yeah, it unloads the model you're not using. And it will, even if there is only one model and you issue a prompt, and then you don't issue prompts for a certain period of time, I think it's 5 minutes, or maybe it's mine that's configured for 5 minutes, it will unload it. So I'm streaming, I'm playing the game, how's the audio quality, how's the picture quality, and I'm going to dive into Zone here, issue some commands, play around a little bit and see if I lose frame rate and how the responses are going to be. Stop ignoring me.
Of course. I'm listening.
Display navigation.
Certainly.
Exit.
Shinobi says environment equals Allama load timeout
Certainly.
equals 15M. Dontrader Placido says all good.
Ignore me?
Of course, I'm ignoring you.
Okay, guys, I'm not going to respond to you for a couple of minutes. Let's try and see how it behaves in the zone, and then I will respond to everything that you said. Okay, so I will be ignoring you.
I still haven't written
Shanobi
about.
says this
What can I
setup is
say?
so cool. I love what you've done.
Listen up.
Affirmative. I'm listening.
Drop.
Right away. I have exited Super Cruise, and the current threat level is medium.
All right. Weapons hot, please.
Certainly.
Turn on the night vision.
We can disregard that statement.
Okay, night vision on.
Scan detected.
My sensors are online and functioning properly.
I see all.
Contact legal target expert. Wanted. Bounty roughly 100,000 credits.
I see all.
How do you fools make a living?
Cargo scan detected.
Max weapons.
Anything nice?
Aye aye.
None. Nothing.
Cargo scan detected.
Max weapons.
Scan detected.
I see all.
Affirmative.
Ignore me.
Affirmative. I'm
All
ignoring.
right, let's see. So this is the problem with Whisper. Such a long bad reason. Okay, now we have reason. Max weapons, mark
Scan
weapons,
detected.
mox weapons.
Nothing but slim picking around.
This is the inference of this is how Whisper does the short utterance inference. So now let's try a longer utterance so that it has more context, and then it will figure out. Hopefully another STT implementation will have a fix for this, and then it won't be a problem anymore. So this is not LLM hallucinating, this is the speech-to-text hallucinating. I don't want this. I don't care about your websites. There we go. Stop ignoring me.
Right away. I'm listening.
Maximum power to weapons, please.
Initiating scans of all ships.
Aye aye.
Target engines.
On it.
Damage shields offline.
Max engines.
On it.
Max weapons.
Right away.
Incident response units on station.
Kill confirmed.
Destroyed.
118,570.
Equalize the power, please.
Of course, I'm ignoring you.
Equalize the power. See, it is ignoring me. It is completely bonkers. So max engines, what did it do? Maximum power weapons, please. That worked. Can recall it as power of this. So this is what the Whisper heard. Completely wrong. So I am not liking this Whisper model whatsoever. It is going to cause no end of headache, hatred, and discontent for anyone who's using the app right now. Therefore, the goal for the next week will be to fix this problem by maybe switching from Whisper to something else, That other implementation that was proposed will be taxing GPU, though. It is going to stick about 3.5 gigs into the GPU, but it is a lot faster. And above all, it is a different kind of engine. And it is a lot more accurate, or at least it is advertised to be a lot more accurate on short utterances. If that fails, then I'll try Vox or something. Vox might work.
All citizens must submit to authority scan. Do not attempt to flee.
Yeah, another thing is radio on right now. You can turn it off by saying turn off the radio. And it will use the same voices that these voices, but it's going to apply a radio effect and a bit of a static behind it. I am going to adjust the quality and the intensity of the static so it doesn't cut off across the ears so much. Now, where is this thing? So this is my GPU usage with the game and the model and the stream is at 50% right now, because LM Studio is using a quantized version of Tulu. It is using Tulu 3.1, not 3 but 3.1.8b Supernova specifically. And this is when you pull this one out in LM Studio, it will give you all kinds of different versions. It will give you Q4, Q6, the Q8 is the smartest of them all, but it is quantized. So it's actually half of that.
Rapid criminal investigation scans are finished. Please continue about your business.
Where is the app? I'm going to turn off the radio transmissions for now.
Of course. Radio
Turn off the radio, please.
I'm ignoring you.
So this is how you can figure out if it's actually running a command or not. It will tell you which handler it pulled in here for debugging. And if you check this checkbox over here, detailed log, it will show you raw what it heard, and then below that it will show you the corrected one because there is a correction dictionary. So let's try that. Power to engines. Max engines. Max weapons. Max shields. Equalize power. Look, now it's behaving. So it's like you never know with Whisper, you really never know. I'll try the fast version of it as well, see if it's any better, but I have my doubts. So the goal for the next week is to find a speech-to-text interpreter that is better than what we have right now, because this is going to drive people off the wall.
I'm listening.
Max engines.
On it.
Display home panel.
Certainly.
Display transactions.
Of course.
Display manifest.
Certainly.
Display galaxy map.
Aye, aye.
Exit.
Right away.
What signals are in the star system? What do you see?
Contact legal target master. Wanted. Bounty. Roughly 90,000 credits. In the star system, we have several points of interest on Matrai. There are 4 outposts and a station, as well as 2 industrial installations. Additionally, there's one
Shinobi
Abbey
says the only
three
options
resource
I've found that are
extraction
decent
sites,
are
a
Faster
varying
Whisper, a
difficulty,
fork of Whisper.
2
Whisper
fleet
and
carriers,
Vox, I
1
think, is
squadron
the
carrier.
third one, but I've heard it's not very accurate, the last one.
Cargo scan detected.
Target engines.
Right away. confirmed.
Equalize power?
193 bounty claimed. Affirmative.
Ignore me?
Of course, I'm ignoring you.
So it made another mistake. I said equalize power, it should have reset my pips, but instead it set it to shields. So it should have done this, but it have done that instead. So let's see what it understood when I said equalize power. If recall as power. And the other one it completely. And by the way, exit. This is a correction. When you say exit, this whisper likes to transcribe it as thank you. I don't know why, because this probably was just really designed for corporate speak and the recording lectures and transcribing lectures. It's good at transcribing lectures. It's excellent at that. Look at the bottom. It understands everything that I'm saying with all my Slavic Russian and everything. Slavic accent and everything else.
Shinobi says, so are you hands-off when fighting and the LLM is controlling the systems, or do you still need to take control when battling at least?
No, I am controlling everything when I'm battling. I can control pips myself. I do check the commands that pips are set by the command, because, you know, why not? When I tell it to target specific subsystem, like target engines, for example, it will go and cycle until it finds drive. There's no such thing as engines on these ships. You can tell it target FSD, or let's find us something. Listen up, target FSD.
Certainly, I'm listening.
Target FSD.
Aye, aye.
Ignore me. So it's locked on FSD right now.
On it. I'm ignoring you.
If it is cycling through target, if it's cycling through subsystems and you select another ship, that cycling will stop. But LLM itself does not have the control of the thrusters or direction. It is not aware of the 3D space, because the only thing that app is doing is reading the JSON files from the API directory. It does not read memory, it does not access anything inside of the game, it does not modify anything in the game. Listen up.
Affirmative. I'm listening.
Max engines.
Affirmative.
Target engines.
Legal target expert. Wanted. Bounty roughly 300,000 credits.
Max weapons.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Scan detected.
Kill confirmed. 168,590 bounty.
Max engines.
Affirmative.
Night vision on.
Affirmative.
Scan detected.
Contact legal target expert. Wanted. Bounty roughly 200,000 credits.
Turn on the radio.
Affirmative.
Target engines.
Scan detected.
Let's see what you are carrying.
On it.
A crime has been reported here. All ships will be scanned. Carrying anything nice? Square. Nothing.
Cargo scan detected. Cargo scan detected.
Max weapons.
Right away.
You scratched my paint.
Equalize power.
Confirmed. 177,046 bounty claimed. On it.
Ignore me.
On it. I'm ignoring you.
Right, so it has a failure rate.
How
And
is this happening?
listen up. Turn off the radio.
Affirmative. Radio is on.
It should be off. Let me stop the service here for a moment so that I can talk about this checkbox right here and how it works. I'll wait for everything to disconnect and exit. Alright, so ignore me or listen up. If you say ignore me, it will ignore everything unless it hears word ignore or listen. Then it will trigger. You can bypass it temporarily for one command by saying listen up followed by your command. If it is just listen up and you wait for the beep, then it will turn the ignore mode off. Normally when I play, I never use ignore because I don't have to talk to anyone. I'm not streaming, I'm not interacting with the audience or anything, so this thing is off. It doesn't really like working in this mode all that much. I only have it really for streams. Maybe it is useful when you're playing with your buddies. This would have to be perfected before it can be useful.
Good evening. Crondor. Voice input enabled. Connecting to LM. Action established.
Stop ignoring me.
Aye aye. I'm listening.
Prime response suite completed. All ships are free to depart.
Max engines.
Contact legal target competent. Wanted.
Max engines.
Roughly 50,000 credits. Certainly.
Target engines.
Right away.
Max weapons.
Commander, I do not have any information about Microsoft mechanics. It appears to be referenced outside my current operational context.
Hostile detected. Protect the lead ship at all costs.
Kill confirmed. 46,057 bounty claimed.
Select next hostile.
On it. Contact legal target competent. Wanted. Bounty roughly 60,000 credits.
Shinobi says, I hope when Elan takes us all to space, we have a co-pilot AI like this maybe. It'll be your app integrated into a real ship. How cool would that
Kill confirmed. 62,600.
Select next hostile.
Let's see what you are carrying.
On it. Contact legal target master. Wanted. Bounty roughly 200,000 credits.
What treats do you carry? I see all.
How do you fools make a living?
Cargo scan detected.
Select next hostile.
Of course.
Target engines.
Affirmative.
Under attack.
Kill confirmed. 198,791.
Plot the route back to the fleet carrier, please.
Aye, accessing Spanch. Stand by.
Plot the route back to the
Navigate
fleet carrier.
is not available in Spanch. Of course, accessing Spanch.
Okay,
Stand by.
navigate back to
Unable
fleet
to
carrier.
navigate to. Data is not available. Right away.
Ignore me.
Affirmative. I'm ignoring you.
There are so
Route
many
set.
different commands to plot routes or navigate the things that I need to add a lot of disambiguations because there are the routes to the hunting grounds, there are routes to the mission providers, there are routes to or navigate to what's that thing called? The material trader, the technology broker, the human technology broker, the Guardian technology broker, the find me a star system is a planet that has brain trees with arsenic in them. So there's a lot of different commands, and keeping them all going, it's kind of like herding cats. And the text-to-speech hallucination does not help much. So plot route back to fleet carrier, it understood correctly, but LLM screwed up and it mapped it to plot fleet carrier route instead of plot route back to fleet carrier. There's semantical differences there. So those would have to be rethought of how they are phrased inside the prompt so that it does not confuse them. Otherwise, you'll have to add more and more like rules to the prompt itself, and prompt will balloon in size. So that's another thing that needs to be figured out. Stop ignoring me.
On it.
Jump.
I'm listening. Aye. Jumping to EAL Pro PXTD 333. Fuel is available. Preparing for steel. Attracting hardpoints.
Ignore me.
Certainly, I'm ignoring you.
So the pre-jump sequence will retract your hardpoints, turn off your lights, turn off your
We're traveling to EAL Pro PXTD.
night vision, and if you have a fighter deployed, it will say that it cannot jump, and it will call the fighter back in. Now let's go back to the carrier, swap ships, grab the one with the fighter, and see if it can if it will deploy fighter, or if it will deploy me.
Arrived at EAL Pro PXTD 333. Next waypoint, EAL Pro GBMC 2. Dark Class K. Fuel available. We have one jump left to destination.
Listen up, jump to the next waypoint.
Certainly.
So that was a bypass.
Frameshift
It
drive.
is ignoring me right now, but I
GBMC
bypassed the
2.
command.
Fuel is available.
What is
Preparing
the
for
bypass
steel.
word? I feel so terribly bad that the speech-to-text is letting us down right now.
Route to K Cluster. EAL Pro GBMC 82. Fuel is available.
But that's just another problem to solve, right? Because I don't want this thing to be a ship's parrot. I want this thing to be genuinely useful.
Arrived at
As in
final
the system.
destination. EAL Pro JBMC 82.
Fuel sweeping.
Stop ignoring me.
Of course, I'm listening.
Fuel sweeping complete.
Display navigation panel.
Right away.
Exit.
Aye.
Ignore me.
Of course, I'm ignoring you.
Don't you find this ironic that I have less hardware than you do? I'm running same app, I'm running same LM Studio, I'm running the same model, and there's a stark differences between how it performs for you and then how it performs for me, even though you have more iron to throw at it. Isn't that weird? Stop ignoring me.
Certainly, I'm listening.
Drop.
On it. Back at base.
Welcome, Commander. We'll accept your business after completing an access check.
Contact the tower, request docking.
Aye aye.
Ensure to observe Starport Protocol during your visit.
Lone Wolf has been granted docking permission.
Request accepted. Your docking computer has assumed control.
Landing gear deployed.
Ignore me.
Aye aye. I'm ignoring you. Market data available.
Right, let's swap a ship, the one that has
How can we help, Commander?
a fighter in it, and see if we can deploy fighter or if it is going to throw me out of the ship instead.
Hello, Krandor. I am Night Reaver. At your service, my lord.
Stop ignoring me.
Affirmative. I am listening.
Activate the controls.
Aye, aye.
retracted.
Landing clamps disengaged. Maintain a controlled speed until clear. Speed restrictions have been lifted. Good luck, Commander.
Deploy the fighter escort.
Right away.
Roger that. I'm booting up the fighter. Clear of the mothership. Ready when you are.
Recall the fighter back to the mothership.
I am ignoring you.
So interesting. It did transcribe correctly. Recall fighter back to mothership. And fighter orders return to base have been issued. But the command did not actually go through. I wonder why that is. That will be another thing to look into during the next week. And hopefully I'll fix most of these problems by the next Wednesday. And so that would be speech to text. I need to figure out a different speech to text other than this particular version of Whisper. Maybe different Whisper, maybe Vox, maybe something else. Then disambiguation of the prompt colloquial terms. And go through all the commands. I've got my work cut out for me for the long watches of the night.
I'm... Certainly.
Recall the fighter back to base. Oh, recall the fighter.
Affirmative.
Roger that. Commencing fighter recovery.
Ignore me.
On it. I am ignoring you.
So, as you can see, the app is moving along, but at this moment in time, it is not something that is reliable, not something that you would want to use in a open, in a PvP, for example. It still needs to be tested on Nabara. Then, what else? Gemini was added to it. So that's another cloud. What else? Radio callouts been added and the graphical user interface been changed. I added the selection of ships, so you can now customize your ship's personality, cadence, and voice. And that's about it for this update. So this is where we are in the project. It's still pretty early beta, it's still full of bugs. And I still wouldn't recommend using it in the serious gameplay, but I do recommend giving it a shot, knowing its limitations and what kind of problems it has. That helps to perfect the application for the future. If speech to text will be figured out, then it will solve a lot of problems. Most of the hallucinations right now at the speech to text end of it. Why does it say cancel docking? That's just the game's GUI
Sure to observe
screws up.
Starport protocol during your visit.
That lone wolf has been given permission to dock.
Alrighty guys, thank you for joining in for the update. This is all I had. I don't know if I should do this on a Wednesday night or Wednesday morning. I guess we'll figure that one out. I will put the stream in
Market data.
unlisted mode so that YouTube can process it, and then I can cut off the front when it starts.
Secure. Welcome to this carrier, Commander.
And then it will be published as a video. I think I'll be doing it that way. Seems to be performing better that way. With that, I'm signing off, and I will see you in the Matrix.